Hello everyone, it's Andrea and welcome to this edition of Talks in the Car. I was having a discussion recently with a friend of mine, and we were talking about how there are times in our lives when it seems as if the people that we have helped, the people that we have counseled, the people that we have supported have turned away. They have forgotten about the love that you showered on them. They forgot about the times when you were there for them. They forgot about the times when you checked up on them in favor of individuals who will support what they're doing, as opposed to embracing those who are honest with you, as opposed to remembering the times when people gave you wise counsel, when people gave you, the hard truth. They will abandon you in favor of someone who will co-sign. They will abandon you in favor of people who will agree with you even in your error. And as we were talking about this, and as I began to ponder it, I really realized and I really began to think about how many times do we abandon God? God who has supplied for us, God who has been there for us, God who has answered prayer, God who has listened to us, God who has uplifted us, the God who has been there from the beginning of every situation that we have experienced to the present, and we forget about him. We turn away. We co-sign with people who will co-sign with us, with people who support where we are, who will not give us the real truth, who will smile and laugh and joke with us even when we are in our wrong, as opposed to giving us the hardcore Jesus, the hardcore facts, reminding us of what detriment could happen to us if we choose a particular path. And as I was continuing to think about this, and my friend and I, we were talking about this one particular situation and how it's hurtful when you've invested in someone. It's hurtful when you've tried to direct someone in the right way, when you've tried to give them the benefit of your experience, and then they decide to turn against you, in essence, in favor of, again, people who have co-signed with them, people who will agree with them even when they're wrong, people who will support their chaos, who will support their ridiculousness, who will support their foolishness, who will support their wrongdoing. And if you think about it from a humanistic standpoint and how hurt you would feel if that happened to you, imagine how God feels when the people who he has loved, the people who he has poured into, the people who he has listened to, the people whose shoulder you've cried on, turn away from him. When they decide to do something different, he said, look, this is the way that you should go. This is the path. This is the counsel that I'm giving you. This is not going to be the best avenue for you to take. This is not the best decision. And imagine when God invests in you and he pours into you and he's giving you all of this wise counsel and wisdom, and then you turn away and he watches you as you turn away, and knowing what can happen, knowing where the path that you have chosen may lead. Imagine the hurt that he feels. Because why? Because he loves you. He loves us that much. He loves us so much. I have said so many times that God does not want to see us fail. In the same way that we don't want to see our children fail, we don't want to see the people that we care about around us. If you're involved with youth or you have youth around you and you see youth going in a particular avenue, and it hurts when you give them the love, you give them support, you give them wise counsel, you give them your ear, you text them in times of trouble. You know they're getting ready to go out and do something, and you text them to make sure that they're okay. Did you get home okay? And you do all of that. It's hurtful when they turn away in favor of something else. And so with that being said, let's try to be mindful of how we treat God, how we respond to God. Do we turn our back on God after He's been there for every situation? Do we talk about God in a negative light to others, trying to look good in front of others, rather than remembering and accepting all that Christ has did for us? And in that conversation with my friend, it really highlighted and it really drew my attention to my own attitude, my own way of doing things. Am I walking in a way that will not hurt the feelings of God? Am I walking in a way that I don't turn away from Him? I don't shun His counsel. I don't act as if He hasn't been there for me the whole time. At my job, I talk to little people, preschoolers and kindergarten students, and we talk about often the fruit of the Spirit. And I try to remind them that when they do things that they know are wrong, when they don't listen to their teachers, when they don't listen to their parents, when they're disrespectful, when their words are not kind and they're not sweet to the people that are around them, to the people that love them, to the people that care for them, I let them know that that hurts their heart. When they don't do the right thing in their class, that hurts the heart of their teacher. When they tell their parents no, or when they have a tantrum episode, that hurts their parents' heart. When they hit their friends, or if they do something that hurts their friends, they're hurting their friend's heart. And as I think about that, how many times do we hurt the heart of God? Think about, again, that person that you sowed into, whether or not you gave them money, whether or not you gave them the benefit of your time, the benefit of your wisdom, the benefit of your experience, whether or not you called, you checked on them, you always were there when they needed you, when they wanted to talk, when they wanted to run by something. Think about how you feel when they walk away, when they make a choice to do things that you know are going to hurt them. How does your heart feel? You feel hurt. You don't even necessarily feel angry, but you feel hurt because of your love for them, because of your concern for them. And when you see the turn, when you notice the change in them, when you notice that they no longer come to you, that their attitude towards you is different, your heart is hurt. And now let's flip that card around. How many times do we hurt the heart of God? When God has been there, when God has heard us cry out in the middle of the night, when things have happened and we've asked God, can you help us? When we've said, God, what do we do? How do we make it through this situation? God, can you work a miracle? God, can you do this in my favor? And God does it. God is there. God comforts us. God supports us. God talks to us. God meets us in the midnight hour. And then for whatever reason, we decide that we're going to do something different. We're going to seek other counsel. We're going to accept other wisdom. Imagine the hurt that we impose upon God's heart, and how we have disappointed him, how we have hurt him, how maybe, theoretically speaking, we've brought tears to the eyes of God. And so as we go through our journey, I just want you to keep that in mind. Are you hurting the heart of God by ignoring him? Are you hurting the heart of God by dismissing him? Are you hurting the heart of God by accepting the counsel of others who don't have the interest that God has in us, who has not invested in you the way God has? You know, God has invested everything in us. He gave his life. He invested his life in us. And so when someone gives their life for you, or puts their life on the line, or gives aspects of their time, of their experience, of their knowledge, and they give that to you, to turn away from that is hurtful. And so if we think about the things that people can do that can hurt us in the natural, change that over to the spiritual and consider how our actions, how our words, how what we do, what we say, how we respond to God. If we ignore God, all those things, think about how we are hurting the heart of God. The God who's been there, the God who has invested in us, the God who has poured into us. And guess what? Even in all that, the God who will continue to do that, even though we've turned away, even though we've ignored, even though we have turned our attention towards other people, towards other things, God will continue to still be there. And we have done that, even though someone has turned away, someone has opted to give their attention in another area, opted to ignore our counsel, ignore our love for them, ignore our care. Even when they go ahead and do that, we still have a heart for that person. We still don't want to see them end up in a situation that could be to their detriment. Our heart is hurt, but the love is still there. Our heart is hurt, but our concern is still there. Our heart is hurt, but we still want to see the very best for them. That is an example on a small scale of the love and the concern that God has for us. Even though we've turned away, even though we've ignored him, even though he has shared with us, and we've taken another avenue, knowing what God has said is truth, knowing what God has said is the very best for us, but we've turned away, and how we have hurt the heart of God. But yet in that hurt, God still loves us. And guess what? God will still have his arms open for us when we decide that we want to come back. When we decide that, you know what, God, you were right. When we decide that, God, I'm so sorry, I listened to this person, that person, I co-signed with that person who agreed with my actions, even though I know it was not the best thing. God will still keep his arms wide open for us and receive us back. The same way with those that we care about, we receive them back. So keep those things in mind as you go through your journey, as you're making your decisions, as you are choosing people in your life to who will pour into you, who have your best interest in mind. Keep that in mind. That are you making the heart of God glad, or are the things that you're doing, the things that you're saying, the way that you're acting hurting the heart of God. Remind yourself the same way you would be hurt, and you have been hurt when people who you have cared about have chosen to turn away, and how much that hurt. Don't allow yourself to put that same type of hurt on the heart of God, who has always been there for you and who always will. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and we will see you next time on Talks in the Car.